afternoon, this evening, we are going to quickly look at a few tips when it comes on to career. And of course, as the term says, career, which is a lifelong development, starts from birth and it goes with us when we say farewell to this old world. So some of the things that I want each of our youth who are the what we call the today's 21st century innovators of transforming and taking the world where it ought to be. And what better place when we have young Adventists who will become leaders and examples in organization across the platform of career, whether it's going to be from an academic standpoint or it's going to be from what we call a technical educational standpoint. Whatever it is, you have to ensure that the opportunity that you give or the opportunity that you take on will be one that will give your life the edge over other persons that you work with within the platform. Because of the few minutes that we have to share, I am going to run. I'm in a meeting currently. I'm going to refrain from using the PowerPoint. I will share the PowerPoint with your AY leader so you could have it so you can look through it for yourself. So there are various tips that you need to know. One of the first things that you need to do when it comes into career is there are 5 basic steps. One, you have to be able to do what we call self-assessment. In other words, you have to know who you are, what you're about, your interest, your ability, the skills that you have. So it's not going to be where you're going to say, because my brother, my sister, or my friend in my class is doing this, but it is really something that you personalize to yourself, to your matching. Now, here's the other interesting thing about career and tips in career is that your parents' career choice or your parents' career decision then has nothing to do with your career decision. No. As a matter of fact, for the mummies and daddies who are here, one of the first tips in youth planning out their future or planning out their career is that it must be personalized. In other words, you guide them, not telling them what to do. We have seen so many professionals who are miserable in their job. As a matter of fact, let me put it in the layman term. We have seen so many professionals who go to work every day and not enjoying going to their passion every day. So the first tip is really self-assessment. You are going to pull yourself apart by looking at the skills, the ability that you have, and see how best you know you. Then you can match you to that career choice that you're so interested in. Then we move into research. And how can we do something without having the knowledge? Now, the good thing about the 21st century and beyond is that information is at our fingertip. Whether we're going to vast in social media or going to vast in what we call research sites and various platforms that give us adequate and logical research information, there is information right at your fingertip. There is something that you as an individual, as a youth, that can just click at the button and there you have it, information reaching you. So you have to research. So research and know what is happening, man. Don't research on what we call the traditional kind of jobs, right? Because they're outdated or stagnant. And it means that the next 2 to 3 or 5 years or the next months or so, you're going to find out that without the knowledge of knowing of what is going, we call them the emerging jobs. If you don't research, then you might not be able to align your career assessment, which is the first stage of you wouldn't be able to align yourself that well. And once we do the self-assessment and we do the research, which give us now the knowledge or the competency that we know how to or what to match those abilities and those skills with, then we go into the decision-making process. So the first one, we assess. So the assessment is knowing who we are. Then the research is acquiring knowledge or information on what is it we're aligning ourselves to. Then we have to make that decision. So what is a decision? Is it because it's popular? Is it because everybody that I know would have done it? Or is it because of the fact that it's aligned exactly with who I am and my ability and my skills? So the decision is going to be now, how do I decide on the several career? Just let me interject here. Now, for every individual, there are 3 dominance career that you will excel in. Now, we said 3 dominance. Now, if you should do a career assessment, it comes up with a code, and those codes in the psychometric analysis would have said to you that, okay, you would have been here, number one, you would have dominated in, let's use social science, for instance. That's your number one career. Likely the second one would have fallen in probably business, or we call them enterprising. So you fall into the if it's not social science, which is one, then two, it might be something in business, something in marketing, something in promotion, those kind of stuff. And then the third might be a little off, something in the natural science. So you're like, how do I move from social science to business to natural science? So there are three dominant areas. But the tip that we're given is that within these 5 basic tips, once you do the assessment, once you do the research, once you make that decision, then it's easier now to choose carefully on that final choice that we're going to. But here's the problem though, or here's a solution to. For instance, for myself, I would have done something in high school that had nothing to do with what my career would have been now, right? So in the process of exposing true information, you can also develop different likings and interests, and it might alter or it might change your career. So the process is, as we said, lifetime. It continues. So 1, self-assessment. 2, research. 3, decision making. And of course, the one that I love is networking. Now, why do I need to network if I need to choose a career? I know I want to be a mathematician, but why do I need to know other mathematicians? Why do I even need to know anybody who is in that field? The truth is, you want to see what are the opportunities from a practical standpoint and how I can achieve or how I can progress in this particular field. For instance, if you want to be a doctor, of course, you have to associate yourself with doctors. You want to hear some experiences that he or she would have gone through. You want to be a teacher. Yes, you were once a student. So it's natural that you see the hell you put your teachers through. But you yourself want the experience of what is that passion within you that says you want to continue to teach, right? Even when I give you trouble, right? So you want to be able to now associate yourself with those who are in the same career line or career interest. And here's a good thing, young people. Did you know that even though I might be a teacher for a number of years, you becoming a teacher in the 21st century has so much to teach me, who is the old person in the system, because your way, the methodology and the learning styles and the creativity and the innovation would have been totally different from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So things would have been different. Can I tell you a secret? Because it would have hit you too. When the pandemic came here, we understand that the virtual world was one of the big wow theory. We call it the Big Bang in the education sector. Teachers were surprised. Students were surprised. People were frightening. Everybody was panicking. And the whole thing is that, what are we going to do? Now, here's the thing. With career decisions, I could say, and I hope my colleagues won't beat me, as a teacher, you should have been always upskilling. What is it you can do to enhance the teaching arena, knowing that technology is really the in thing, right? So because of that, it is important to network. So I can assume that you wanted to become a farmer, you have to link up some farmer now and know what are the crops that I can import, not just the crops that I can provide my local market, but I want to the crops that I know can export overseas to my region, to other countries. So I want to go on a big scale. So I'm not limiting myself to just supporting my community or supporting my parish, but I'm now looking at, hey, I want to go into a big business as a farmer, hence tell me how this works. So you're building that network with these persons who have the know-how and the experience, and you know, giving them some innovative ways of expanding themselves and while you get into the business. So they said some things you need to consider. You need to consider 1, self-assessment, 2, research, decision-making, and work and networking. Now watch this. The 5th one says you have to now get in action. In other words, you have to do the work. So getting out there is not about, oh, I'm just going to go to school because they say I must go to school. For me to be successful in school, it means that assignment, well, if we reverse it in the order, we have to pay attention, we have to do the assignments, and we have to study while we're out of school environment. My social platform now is going to be filtered with challenges and equations and problems out of a particular subject area, so others can see and give their comments so I can learn from it, because I'm interested in passing that subject. I'm interested in getting the A. So it's similar to the career. Whatever it is that I want to be, I start to practice what I want to be. I start to talk about what I want to be. You know, like the Christian journey. You know, as a Christian, you can't just say I'm a Christian, but you have to live and walk and talk and preach and sleep and eat and everything that everybody now starts said to you, say, yeah, go on like you're the holiest of the holiest. The reason they would have said it is because there's something about your demeanor, there's something about your speech, there's something about your attitude, there's something about your attire, there's something about everything about you that makes them telling you now you look like the most holy. Huh? So it's the same thing in your career. You have to start being what you want to be as of day one. Let me just touch another. I know they tell me 5 minutes. I did 5 minutes. I have to keep in time. Now, here's the thing. Now, another thing you need to understand when it comes into career. While we do the assessment, which talks about personality, values, and skills, and interests, and knowledge, and self, you know, all of those come into that stage, you know, then we have to know our personality type. Because if we don't know our personality and we're going to choose a particular career that is people-person related, or it's health related, or it's monetary based, or it's promotional based, or it is whatever it is, and your personality don't in sync with that career, you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life. Miserable for the rest of your life. So as you move, remember the 5 stage of career or tips that you can use: self-assessment, research, decision-making, networking, and put it into action. Personality, values, and skills. All right. And of course, for you to really have that self-direction, you have to first start loving what you say you want to do. Let God lead the decision for you. When He chooses your career, you will never be miserable for the rest of your life as you fall into the working or the professional world in what you want to become. There's so much more to tell you, but because of time, until next time, think about who you are, what you want to do, how you're going to get it done, and love doing what you do best.